Hi everybody, Susan Davis here. Today I'm going to show you how to make some really delicious crispy Filo pastry Böreks, and they're actually called Cigarette Böreks, and they're just the reason they're called Cigarette Böreks because they look like a cigarette, and you just roll them up like the shape of your finger. That looks like a cigarette. This I like to use a Turkish made Filo pastry, and I buy that from a special shop that sells Turkish foods. So I'm just going to put that in on the side for the meantime, but we're going to prepare the filling for that. So I've got some feta cheese. So when you open your feta cheese, it'll be packed in a little bit of brine. So what you need to do is just drain that brine out. I'm not going to do too many because I'm actually saving the Filo pastry for another dish as well. So I'm just only going to use about half a pack of feta cheese for this, maybe just a touch more. My daughter loves these, so I don't often do them, so I'm just going to break it. So there we go. That's a standard British packet, which is usually about 200 grams. We're just going to leave this on the side for now. And the ingredients are fresh parsley, egg yolk to go into the cheese mix, and the white to seal the pastry, and a little bit of black pepper, and just a touch of cinnamon, which is really optional. And I've got a fresh clean sheet to cover the pastry so it doesn't go dry in between rolling the pastries. So let's put the glasses on. So I've got my parsley washed already, so what I'm going to do is just going to roll it up and chop it up. I prefer flat leaf parsley, so if you come across that, do buy that one. I think there's more colour, more flavour in there, but I didn't find it in the shops, so I just bought a pot of parsley. So still, it's very, very fresh because I just literally cut it off the plant, so I can smell it. So that's really great. I'm just going to put that on the plate where the cheese is. Let's put that over here. It's on a plate because it makes it easier to mash up the cheese. Now, what we don't want to do, we don't need to put any salt in this because feta cheese is naturally salty and it's preserved in brine. Okay. I like to mash up my cheese. Oh, it's in two layers. That's strange. First, before I add the parsley to it, and I'll probably put it in the bowl at that stage. Put some black pepper in there. And there's no hard rule, just adjust it to your preference. You can add a tiny pinch of cinnamon, but it's not essential. That's just literally dependent if you want. I'm not putting enough cinnamon to taste it. It's just like to sort of marry all of those flavors, but it is not necessarily something that you have to do. So we're just going to mash up the cheese, and you can make these little cigarette burks with various fillings. You can put mincemeat in there. It's a little bit heavy, but it's also very tasty. But this is considered a lighter version of it with some cheese. And if you don't want to put eggs in it, which is egg yolk, that is fine as well. Okay, but it might just make it a little bit drier. So I'm going to crack the egg, and the egg white is going to help seal the pastry, and the egg yolk will help bind the filling. Okay, so there we are. Let's just mix this in here, and then I'm going to pop it in that bowl. So we're using the plate to mash it all up. Now if you've got too much cheese and you feel like it's not binding, you can always, this pepper's just making me want to... Oh God, excuse me. The pepper's making me want to sneeze. So we're just mashing it up, and if you've got like lots of cheese here, you can either add a wee bit of the egg white, or you can crack another egg yolk in there, sorry. So now we're going to pop it in the bowl. This pastry become really nice and crisp when you fry them, and really delicious to eat as appetizers. They're definitely not a one-course meal, but should be enjoyed in small quantities. Okay, so what we're going to do, create some space, and then we'll start making our pastries. So that's our mix. Let's pop that like that, and let's get our pastry. So this is a lovely Filo pastry. I bought it from a Turkish shop, and as you can see, it's much different from the varieties that. And let's put this down here because we need all the space we can get. We need these. Sorry, it is different to the ones that you would get in England, the mainstream Filo pastries. Okay, so it's, as you can, hopefully you can see, it's a rather large circle. There we go. Wow, isn't that amazing? And the texture is totally different to what you normally get. So I'm not going to make many. So I've got 3 here, 3 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'll work with one at a time. Just fold the others over, and then what you do is, let's put that one there for now. And clearing up. The ones I'm not going to leave, they need to be left covered, especially if it's a hot day like it is today in England. You need to cover these, preferably with a damp cloth if you can, and that will keep them nice and soft. All right. So got options there. You can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into triangles, but I'm going to cut them. Keep it really simple and just cut them across. And then let's do it again into quarters. You can actually buy this pastry already cut in quarters, but if you're more stingy on how much pastry you want to put in your Böreks, then you can create smaller triangles, but we're not going to do that today. Okay. And that quarter I am actually going to cut into 1/3 or 3/3. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it. So here we go, we've got lots of pastry here. All of a sudden we've created lots of pastries. So we've got our filling here. This is going to be the easiest, simplest thing that you might have learned in the culinary kitchen to make. That's exceptionally flavourful. I'll try and bring this closer. There we are. Just fold it over the sides, seal it in, and then you just start rolling it over. There's this lovely fresh pastry, nice and soft, and then what we do is dip the end in the egg white and roll it over. And then I usually just let it sit on the tip, and that helps it seal. Let's do it again. Now, if your pastry is not fresh, this is beautiful and soft, it will crack and it will break. So then you know that your pastry is not fresh enough. So let's do it again. We sealed the filling in. We're just going to roll it over. Before we get to the tip, we've got our egg white here. I'm just going to dip it in there, and then I'm going to finish rolling it up and let it sit on the seal. And that's what we do. And then we're going to take it to the pan and we're going to fry it. I'm going to fry mine in some rapeseed oil, which is withstands high temperature. And if you like, you would use a different oil, but I prefer to use rapeseed oil because it's healthy and it withstands high temperature. Now, if you don't want to fry yours, you can also brush them liberally with some olive oil or rapeseed oil, and you can bake them in the oven. But you might find the texture might be slightly different. So I'm going to carry on with these, and then I'll show you how I'm frying mine. Okay, so now we've got our cigarette böreks ready, and we've got some rapeseed oil cooking, heating in the pan. So before you start frying, if you're not sure what temperature your oil is at and when to start frying, you would need to test your oil. I'm just going to turn that on a low. So either you're going to have a wee bit of pastry or a little bit of bread, and just pop it in the fat. And when it starts sizzling like that, that's a good indication that your fat is ready. Let's turn it around and see if it's colouring. And the way you control your the heat of the fat is with if you're on a gas cooker, by turning high and low. Okay, so this has stopped sizzling, and very quickly it stopped actually. So that's telling me that this fat is ready for frying my foods. Okay, because you don't want your fat too hot, otherwise your pastry will burn before it cooks inside. So that's quite important. I always put it on the seal down first so it doesn't open, and because there's egg white there, that will cook and seal the pastry. Don't overfill the pan. I'm experienced enough, so I'm going to put as many as I can in there that I can handle. So okay, there we are. I think we'll stick with that. And then we're going to wait till it colours on one side, and then we could start flipping them over. Okay, they're starting to colour already. So we got egg yolk in there, so we actually want to cook these pastries till the heat penetrates the centre of the börek. Okay, so it looks really nice and brown, but I actually want to turn them around a few times. And I've got my heat on low. It's quite a big burner though, so let's have a look. Let's turn them around again. That ensures that they're cooking evenly. They're nearly there. This is quite actually a really high burner, and I can't control the temperature, so I'm going to actually I can't turn it lower, so I'm just going to turn it off. And these are going to continue to cook in that fat for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to put them on a little bit of greaseproof paper here, not greaseproof paper, but some kitchen towel, just to absorb a little bit of that fat. As you can see, they're coloured, got that, and that's starting to burst, so ready to come out. Oh, hurry up. Oh, that's that. Oh, there we are. So, as they say, the proof is in the pudding. Here are our delicious cigarette böreks, stuffed with feta cheese, parsley, black pepper, egg yolk, and a pinch of cinnamon. So we'll try one. Lots of filling, crispy pastry, very nice. Still hot, lovely. So you can stuff it with whatever you like, mushroom, spinach, mince, you know, prawns and all that matter. Obviously this is gluten pastry, and if you're on a gluten-free diet, it's not applicable to you, but I will be posting more recipes that you could do that are gluten-free. I haven't made this pastry myself, but this is a very laborious process to make proper yufka, which is your Filo pastry. So it's best if when you find a good quality one to buy it. But if you come across some good quality yufka and you want to recreate one of those lovely, delicious cigarette böreks that you've been probably served as a meze, this is how you do it. So I hope you've enjoyed that.